Extra Point podcast, where we may miss the point, but we do not miss the
The
extra
extra
point.
point.
That might be the closest we've ever gotten.
Uh, hello, everyone.
Been a long year.
All right, so as y'all may see, I have 2K23 in the background. That's just to give y'all a little something to look at while we talk football. So let's just get right into things. Where do y'all want to start? Do you want to start with the draft, the free agency?
Let's start with free agency because free agency usually comes first.
Well, the big free agency news that happened today: Hopkins will not go to the Chiefs. His ring hopping is going to the Titans. All right, yeah, sure. Why the fuck not?
Hey, Justin.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
understand.
So about Hopkins, they still have Tannehill as a QB, right?
Yes,
I'm just
however,
double
they
checking on this.
they have
Yep.
Tannehill, but they also have Malik Willis and I'm blanking on his name right now, but the guy who dips, he has some weird food thing.
He
He was
squirts mayonnaise into his coffee. He's
There you
disgusting.
go. Yeah, Will Levis, that's his name. Drafted out of Kentucky, so he's also there as well.
Apparently, Hopkins has always praised Tannehill for his, and this is his words, not mine, elite quarterback skill.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. Tannehill's never been elite. Okay, Tannehill's always been a game manager. He's
Mm-hmm.
always been a reliable quarterback, but nothing to make him elite. So I'm sorry, but that is one extra point and zero to Hopkins.
Let's see, what are some of the uh well, not quite free agency. It was a trade, but of course the Aaron Rodgers finally happened.
Yep, Aaron
Yeah.
Rodgers going to the Jets this year.
And then to the Vikings next year. I'm just, calling it now.
Yeah, he has to follow in Favre's footsteps, and then that's probably what Jordan Love will do. Jordan Love will win a Super Bowl within 10 years, and then just play on an elite level, and then go to the Jets, and then that's just the Packers quarterback motto. Win a Super Bowl, head to the Jets, and just yeah,
Yeah.
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 Love it. But in all seriousness, Aaron Rodgers is 37, 38 years old. Um, had a down year last year. However, Aaron Rodgers is coming off of back-to-back MVPs. I mean, at least in regular season, Aaron Rodgers is one of the best quarterbacks in the league. However, he probably has the most talent both offensively and defensively that he's had in a long time. Now, whether or not he takes advantage of this or not is up to him, really. But in that division, obviously you have the Bills who kind of struggled a little bit last year, not up to their standards. You always have the Patriots there, but you have the Dolphins,
The
who
Mm-hmm.
have emerged as a threat, hopefully for years to come. So it's not going to be easy for them.
the Bills' weaknesses were on full display against the Bengals in that playoff game.
Yeah, I think the Bengals window is shutting very quickly.
You mean the Bills?
Yeah, the Bills.
Yes, I think the Bills window is shutting very quickly because they were a very big favorite and then nothing, and they keep getting further away.
And let's, keep on that. Segueing into this, I know it's not free agency per se, but it's had to deal with the relationship between Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs. Diggs is not happy with his role. Kind of, he's still the number one over there, but to him, he doesn't seem like what it was supposed to be when he joined Buffalo in the first place. And so that's something to look at the
My
start of the
understanding is it's
season.
not his role. He's tired of the Bills being the choke artists that they are. He left the Vikings because he said, "I'm tired of being a great player on a poor team that can't ever make it work in the playoffs." And he went to be a great player on a decent team that can't make it work in the playoffs.
And now it doesn't help that the Bills are also, right now, in the AFC, the Chiefs and the Bengals are just really, 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 really good.
I mean, the AFC in general, you've got even their own division. You've got the Dolphins, who are very solid. The Jets now have Aaron Rodgers to go with that defense.
I'd honestly say the
And you,
weakest team in the AFC would have to be New England at this point.
Yeah, I can see that because if they're gonna keep going with Mac Jones, I mean, what you gave him Juju Smith-Schuster, who really isn't a number one guy. Uh, Mac Jones hasn't made any strides to be the guy that they drafted number 10. So if as long as they stick with Mac Jones, I think Bailey Zappi would be a slightly better option. However, this is just what I pictured the Patriots would be after Brady left.
I
So
think I think Zappy is just Mac Jones with a cool name.
yeah, I could see that.
Malik Hooker has the best name.
Oh, of course.
Why? Because he's a hooker.
Well, since HaHa Clinton Dix is no longer playing.
Sadly. Sadly.
And this is all until General Booty makes it to the NFL.
Oh, I can't wait for General Booty.
Wait, who's General Booty?
He's some college player, I think, in Oklahoma.
Yeah,
Oh.
but his name is General Booty. Like that's his actual name.
Super Bowl
Why?
MVP
That's his actual,
General Booty.
I don't know, but yeah. Let's transition. We've been talking about the AFC. Let's talk about the NFC real quick and the NFC champions, the Philadelphia Eagles. They were looking to, compete for the Super Bowl, for years to come. However, they lost.
You mean the Georgia Bulldogs?
Well, now they're the Georgia Bulldogs, but they lost almost either half or a little bit more than half of their Super Bowl defense.
They did.
Like they they kept Slay, they kept Bradbury, they lost CJ Gardner-Johnson to the Lions, who only gave him like a 1-year deal. Like they couldn't cough that little of money for him. It's going to be interesting to see because that defense did help. Granted, that offense put up 30, 35 a game, So that's not going to hurt, but it looks like, on paper at least, that they're going to have to put up that many points on a weekly basis to keep stride since they've lost so many people on defense.
That and their big ace in the hole, that quarterback sneak, the way they did it is no longer allowed, to my understanding.
Yeah, they banned that during the off season, I believe.
So what exactly did they didn't ban quarterback sneaks, but
they banned the whole pushing him from behind.
Oh, thank God. I think that's the stupidest thing. Like, if he didn't get it, he didn't get it. That I agree with. That's a good move.
Yep.
Um, but yeah, so they're looking like that. The San Francisco 49ers. It looks like Brock Purdy will be ready for the season. However, who
Picking
do
up
they go
Sam
with?
Darnold too.
Yeah, so now you have,
Does it matter who they go with? Let's be honest.
in a way, no. However,
So
As long as they have
y'all
somebody to play quarterback.
y'all think Darnold will be successful in San Francisco?
I do,
if he
but
gets an
only
opportunity,
in San Francisco because we kind of got proof last year that it didn't really matter.
well, here's the thing, and they put their money on Trey Lance, and then obviously, he got hurt. So now you have this guy, right, Brock Purdy,
Now
who's
here's a guy.
pulling my Collinsworth real quick. Now here's a guy, who just came out of nowhere, in light of both the Lance and Jimmy G injuries, and again, he wasn't elite by any means, but he was reliable. He was, again, the game managing quarterback, not turning the ball over as much, handing it to the running backs, getting those first downs on third down, making plays when they need them. But the thing is, any of them can be that, So it's going to be really interesting.
But
Now, I
none
would
of the other
think,
ones are big cock Brock.
no. However, I will say, if the 49ers want to, confuse defenses and stuff, why don't they, we've heard of a running back committee. What if they do a quarterback committee? What if they don't have a number one guy, like a full-fledged starter, like Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, or whatever, and
I
every
have
week
often thought about it.
they kind of rotate, kind of depending on what the matchup is.
Or just rotate based on who's got the hot hand.
That too.
Wouldn't that also risk slowing down someone who has a hot hand though? If you constantly rotate them out.
It's a fair point. But I think it would. I don't really care for the 49ers, so it would make it interesting.
Yes, it would.
Oh, I don't care for him either. Fucking bitch ass McCaffrey.
Hey, look, he wasn't gonna win with y'all, man. And look, y'all were better without him.
I know. I find that kind of odd, honestly.
Because when he's on the team, when he's healthy, your entire team runs through him. And then the defense is like, yeah, so we don't really have to worry about literally anyone else.
Yeah. That's just because our general manager and coach is an idiot.
Oh yeah, of course.
Or coach was an idiot. Can't really speak for the one this year.
Yeah, but it's Carolina, so he's probably still an idiot.
Yeah. Let's jump back to the AFC for a little bit. The Broncos got
I was
Sean
going to say the
Payton
Raiders.
out of retirement, if it even was retirement.
I was curious what your thought. So Sean Payton's going to prove whether Russell Wilson is washed or not.
Exactly.
But honestly, that's not a story that, in my opinion, bears a lot of talking. What I'm interested in is in that division, which is the Raiders. Is Jimmy G going to be good without the 49ers?
I believe yes.
Here's the thing. That defense is okay. All right.
Mm-hmm.
The main thing is that Devontae Adams didn't leave. So Jimmy G has top 3 wide receiver in the league. And hopefully the Raiders can work for something, because Jacobs has already said he doesn't want to play unless he's signed, because they tagged him. But if he has
Is he
Devontae
signed
and
to tag?
Jacobs, huh?
Has he signed the tag? Because I keep seeing things about potential spots for Josh Jacobs.
I can't remember. I can't remember if he signed the tag or not. I just know
I
that they
don't
placed it on him, but they have
remember.
until tomorrow to work something out, or he plays on the tag. But if
Yeah.
he
Speaking
has
of the
Jacobs
tag,
and Adams, I I don't see why. Because Garoppolo, yes, he was, like we said, a reliable game managing quarterback, but he did show flashes of being like, okay, I'm gonna take over kind of thing. And with those two at his side, I don't see why not. And especially in that division, because there's no one really like strong. We love the Chargers, but they disappoint every year. The Broncos, will see how year two with everything goes with actual head coach that wins, and then the Chiefs. I mean, you got to put them at the top.
The
of
Chiefs
course.
are the Chiefs are gonna do what the Chiefs do as long as Mahomes is healthy.
Yep.
Yeah, that's not a.
Megan is very unhappy with the "as long as Mahomes is healthy" comment.
But don't you jinx shit. I will come fight. I swear. I'm head.
All right.
Let's
But
go
hey,
back.
while we're on the tag, because I know that somebody here has something to say. Saquon Barkley.
Yeah. Please, for the love of God, sign this man. Don't overpay, but sign this man. Because here's the thing: if I thought that Saquon was one of those guys that, you know, he said it himself. He wants to stay in New York his whole career. He's a good guy. Blah blah blah. Whatever.
Saquon goes to the Jets. He's still.
I mean,
But
to be fair,
now,
he never leaves New Jersey if he does that.
but now he wants to be paid big running back money, and he wants the money that Derrick Henry got, and Christian McCaffrey and Aaron Jones back in a couple years ago. But that money for running backs is done. Running backs only have so much of a ceiling nowadays, and Saquon is coming off of an ACL. He's had 2 seasons since his ACL. The first season, believe it or not, he played 13 games that following season. He just wasn't productive. And then
Mm-hmm.
obviously last year, was his "hey, I'm back" kind of thing. But if me as a fan, I'm looking at that, I'm like, okay, do it again. Play on this tag and do it again. If you believe in yourself that much that you believe that you want and deserve this kind of money, do it again. Especially coming off of an ACL, especially because you're a running back. You know, if I was the Giants, I wouldn't give him more than like 12 and a half. That's just me.
The
But
issue is that the running back market, it is unfair for them because they're asked to be a running back and a receiver, and yet they're being paid less for it.
Yeah, I
And I've heard reports that high school kids are not agreeing to sign with colleges if they don't let them change position from running back.
and that's the sad truth. It's a quarterback driven league, okay? Nowadays. And so the quarterback's just going to be slinging. We're not in the day of, LaDainian Tomlinson, Barry Sanders, Walter Payton,
But the
Emmitt
issue
Smith,
is
where
it's not
those
about
guys are
quarterback
the offense.
because every other position keeps growing. The only one that's having trouble getting paid is really the running back.
Exactly.
What's up, everyone in the live chat? But yeah, honestly, when it comes to the positions, I've always felt like the running back was probably one of the most dangerous positions, if not the most dangerous, next to quarterback position, at least. And
Oh, 100%.
and the money they get at running back, like for the job, like Hunter said, for the job they do playing a dual threat, like a lot of running backs are dual threats. You can't deny this. So they should be getting paid for both jobs.
Yep.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
honestly,
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, going, piggybacking on what you just said, John, at the running back position, you are essentially at the mercy of your offensive line.
Yep.
And there's only so much a running back can do to be elusive, to be, getting out of a hole, juking people, breaking ankles, stuff like that. But that puts a toll on your body. If you have a great offensive line, all you have to do is just wait for that hole and you're good. But a lot of the times you don't have that luxury, so you're having to do extra, which is putting strain on running backs, which is why they're not lasting. Their their prime pretty much is like
I
from when they
see.
get drafted to their rookie deal being done,
I
essentially.
actually sent this video up in our group chat, the Saquon video, and there was an idea in there that I honestly think might be a good solution to everyone, which is make the rookie deal for running backs exclusively a year shorter, so that way they have a chance to make their money without being going rookie deal, franchise tag, and your career is over.
Like my friend TJ said in the chat, Marshall Falk is the standard that many running backs are compared to. And that's not necessarily untrue.
Can you explain? Marshall Falk is just not coming to my brain right now.
Marshall Falk, Super Bowl
Rams,
champion with the
right?
Rams. He's on NFL Network. He played for the
Okay.
Colts as well.
Yep.
Marshall
But
Falk, one of the best running backs
but that
ever.
does bring up a topic we were talking about earlier, since we're talking about who the standards are for positions. Mount Rushmore.
Okay, so you said one offense, one defense. Are we doing offense entirely or just by position? Because again, like there's quarterbacks, running backs, receivers, tight ends, and offensive
I was doing
linemen.
offensive. My understanding would be 4 people from the offense, 4 people from the defense per team, kind of thing.
Per team.
Well, that's what they had been doing. Was doing a team specific Mount Rushmore whenever I brought this up.
Honestly, I think it'd be easier to do positions on both offense and defense, just because like the number one offensive lineman is the best
Zach
at his
Martin.
position, but you wouldn't put him over a quarterback or a running back or a wide receiver, you know.
Fair.
So let's just go down the list. Let's start with the major one. Mount Rushmore quarterbacks. Go.
Tom Brady, obviously. I
You
I
know you
don't.
have four heads, right?
Yeah, I know. I didn't know if we wanted to try to come up with a group answer or our own.
I think the three of us all have Tom Brady on there.
Yeah.
Am I wrong?
As much as I hate the guy.
Yeah.
I'm also gonna say Joe Montana.
Joe Montana, that's an interesting one. That is an interesting one for sure.
I have Peyton Manning on mine.
Yeah.
I have to go Peyton Manning as well. There was not many quarterbacks that just sling it like he does and do it so effectively.
And my final spot, I'm split between two, and I'm gonna have to just let my bias come in and say Aikman.
Oh God, really?
Well, so I was between Aikman and Breeze, but ultimately I decided that as great as Breeze is is like Rodgers. Outside of 1 year, just not really a lot of success going on out after the regular season ends.
That's fair. You know, it depends, because when you think of the greatest, right, you
Mm-hmm.
have to factor in everything. You know, you have to factor in the time they played. They have to factor in how good they were for so long. Championships, statistics, all that stuff, and out. Obviously, your two goats, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning. I would have to go Drew Brees for a third, just because you know how many, there's only, I think, less than 10 quarterbacks that have thrown for 5,000 yards in a season, and Drew Brees has done it what, 3 times,
Yep.
and
Yeah.
he has a career, what, 68 or 70 uh, completion percentage or something, it's something ridiculous.
Regular season, Drew Brees is arguably the best quarterback. But that's the ultimate issue is it's regular season.
Again, that is a fair argument. um
To be clear, if we had 5 heads on here, I would put Drew Brees on here without doubt. I just have to question if you belong on Mount Rushmore if you haven't had more than one great postseason.
so I have Brady, Brees, Manning. John, you have Brady and Manning. Who else do you got?
Uh,
Who's your fourth man, Luigi?
Hold on. Trying to find my list that I had made up.
I'm really debating. It's really hard because there's just so many great quarterbacks. You have Ben Roethlisberger, and you have Dan Marino. You have Joe Montana and Steve Young. Um,
That's who I had on my list as my third was Steve Young.
okay, okay, that's interesting.
He's the
Obviously,
first quarterback I ever saw play, so
fair
Fair.
enough.
For me, it was Romo.
Hmm. Huh.
At least whenever I was actively watching.
and fourth on my list, as much as it pains me to say this, I have to go with Drew Brees.
You know what? Let me shock you guys. And I think he has an argument right now. And I think when he retires, he will be a unanimous spot, just like Tom Brady.
Mahomes.
And I'm going to go Patrick Mahomes.
I thought about it, but
Okay,
I'm
let's
waiting
make
to
this
see
even more interesting. Old age quarterbacks, new age quarterbacks. So
where are we putting Tom Brady on the new age versus old age.
retired quarterbacks versus still active, I guess.
Oh, okay, then that makes that a little easier. So still active. Number one is without a doubt Mahomes. I would also put in Burrow and Allen.
I honestly would not put in Allen.
Okay.
I'd go Mahomes. I'd go Burrow. Oh, man. I'm not putting Hurts on top four. I'm sorry.
No, I'm with you.
No, I'm not.
Look, I'm
Justin
willing to
Herbert.
not put Dak, but I will not put Hurts.
Yeah, no. Nobody in the NFC East deserves that spot. Okay.
No.
Um, Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes, and
Lamar
I think
Jackson. I'm gonna go. That's where my fourth vote's gonna go.
that's a tough one. That's definitely a tough discussion right there. Oh man, I'm trying to think because I mean the NFC is just so weak, you know. Like, man, That fourth option is really, really difficult to think. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let's go Lamar. Let's go Lamar.
Yeah, I have to agree with that list, honestly. And the reason I say Allen doesn't deserve a spot on there is because, yeah, he's had successful seasons and everything and whatnot, but I just don't buy him as an elite quarterback, like among the rest of them. I believe he has more help than people give him credit for. You got Diggs at wide receiver. He has a semi-decent running back, I would say.
I like Herbert a lot more than I like Allen. It's hard for me to pick Herbert whenever the Chargers keep blowing it, to the point where they're not even making the postseason at the time.
Well, see, Hunter, you can't expect your charger to work all the time. If you keep it plugged in all the time, it's going to short circuit eventually.
Oh, yeah, fair enough.
That is fair. So
I do find it interesting that not one of us has a single NFC quarterback on this head.
well, I said just right before, the NFC is just so weak. Like,
The NFC strength isn't at quarterback. I believe the NFC strength is in their defense.
Agreed. Or their skill positions as well. You've got Jefferson at wide receiver, like that. Let's do old age quarterbacks and then move to receiver, because I think that's going to be an interesting discussion.
Old age quarterbacks, my top four: Johnny Unitas, Joe Montana, Steve Young, and the last spot, probably Dan Marino.
So wait, you're not including Brady on this list? Because you said it was retired quarterbacks.
Oh, right. Yeah, I forget Brady's retired for now.
I'm like...
I literally have to check every day. Is he still retired?
Yeah, right.
I'm gonna say Brady. I forgot about Unitas, so I'm gonna go ahead and throw him on there. Montana and
Aikman.
who's the other one? Yeah, I feel like there was someone else because since I'm putting in Unitas, who I didn't have earlier. I'm trying to remember who all I had on it earlier.
I got Brady, Manning, Breeze.
Peyton Manning, that's who I was looking for.
Brady, Manning, Breeze, and what was the last one that gets you stumped?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna have three.
You're just gonna have three.
Yeah, just the last head is just Thomas Jefferson. That's fine. To me, it's just really difficult at the moment. I don't know.
Just have a blank football.
Yeah, just a football. It's fine.
His last one hasn't retired yet. It's Eli.
Oh, I mean, I didn't want to put Eli. I mean, because when I started watching football, Eli just got drafted, so he was my guy.
Eli is one of my favorite players post-retirement.
All right, so you wanted to go to receivers next or running back?
Yeah, receivers. I'm interested to see where we're gonna go on the best receivers today, Rick.
All right, so for current receivers, Justin Jefferson, obviously.
Yeah, I think he's number one.
Stephon Diggs is another one. Tyreek Hill. And honestly, don't know who to put for the last spot.
You're not putting Jamar Chase? Like, that felt like an easy number 2.
Isn't Jamar Chase in, like, legal trouble, though?
Not that I...
No, that's Joe Mixon.
Oh. I thought
I was
Jamar
like, I
Chase
haven't
was,
heard
too.
anything about that. I'm looking it up right now, but...
I will go Justin Jefferson, Devontae Adams, Tyreek Hill, and again, you'll be shocked, but DeAndre Hopkins.
Why would I be shocked
I mean,
about
there's
Hopkins?
a lot of good wide receivers, so, like, it's kind of difficult to pinpoint for exactly.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with a DeAndre Hopkins pick. I'm going to go Jefferson, Chase, Hill. And now this one I think is controversial, but I'm actually going to go with Waddle.
Over Hill?
No, not over Hill, but I like a 3-4.
Well, okay, so
I think that wide receiver room in the Dolphins is just insane.
The Dolphins are scary.
Okay, so I'll one up you there. If you think that Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle deserve to like 3 and 4, then I would put Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, because T. Higgins to me is a number 1 guy. He's just number 2, unfortunately, because there's another number 1 on the bank.
You know,
I think if you throw T. Higgins on majority of other teams, he'd be number 1.
Mm-hmm.
I draft him in fantasy every year, and he doesn't disappoint.
Yeah, no, that's fair. All right, now old receivers.
Randy Moss.
This one, I think this one's where we get things hard.
Honestly, you would think, but it should be Jerry Rice, Randy Moss, Larry Fitzgerald, and Marvin Harrison.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I left T.O. off of it.
Yeah, that's exactly where I was gonna go.
I have Randy Moss, Jerry Rice, Marvin Harrison, and Megatron.
I've got Terrell Owens, Rice, Fitzgerald, Megatron.
So you leave off Moss.
It's tough, and I think you could switch out Megatron and Moss. Actually, you know what? I am going to switch out Megatron and Moss just because Megatron didn't have a lengthy career.
However, sometimes it's not all about the length. You know,
it's not all about it.
Megatron in 8 seasons was probably the most dominant player ever.
Yeah, no, for sure. I have to give a spot to Fitzgerald because he, unlike every other quarterback on these lists, he had bums throwing to him for the entirety of his career, basically. And we still talk about him like this.
He has more tackles than dropped passes.
Yeah, like, I honestly think there's an argument to say that Fitzgerald is the best, period.
Unfortunately, to me, if you want to be the best at your position, you have to at least, to me, this is my criteria, you have had to at least win one title. And
I know.
That's why I can't put him there.
Yeah, I get it. All I can think is, Rice, as great as he was, also had who he had at quarterback and Stickum.
Yeah, Rice did play in a different day and age. is allowed.
You know, and you look at it, right?
Here's an interesting question: if Mike Evans does break the 1,000-yard season consecutive record, does he belong a spot?
You can make an argument for Mike Evans because since, like, again, he's had 1,000 yards since he was drafted, right? And
Mm-hmm.
before Tom Brady, he had bums throwing to him.
And he's
I'm
about to go
sorry,
back to it.
I'm sorry, Jameis, you're a bum.
I'm not going to give it to on Jameis, but he's had a lot of other bums as well. I'm not going to say Jameis because Jameis was yeeting it down the field. Whether his receiver caught it or the defender, that's its own thing. But he just yeeted it as
Fuck
hard
it,
as he could.
Evans
It
is
was like,
down there somewhere.
Yeah. And so right now he has Baker Mayfield as his quarterback. Or I'm sorry, or who's the other guy?
Kyle Trask.
Kyle Trask. So you got bum and a rookie. So if Mike Evans can top it again, I don't see why not. And he has his championship, you know. And the fact that Mike Evans isn't talked about as, like, a top receiver in the league at the moment is just crazy because he's been the most consistent guy since he was drafted. And mind you, he was in the draft class with Odell Beckham and Jarvis Landry and what's his face? I can't think of his name.
I
But
was like, so far off the names you've mentioned, he's without a doubt the best of them.
yeah,
Oh,
and coming out of the draft, he wasn't, like, because of how stacked that receiver class was. So, and he was drafted in 2014. So this is what he's going into his 9th year.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
He is 3 seasons away from breaking the record.
if he can do it with bum ass Baker Mayfield this year, then I don't see why not.
I honestly
I think
don't think
Baker's
Baker
probably
will
worse.
play the whole season as starter, if any.
Whoever's throwing to him, he's gonna have to. He's gonna have to make it work. Let's go to running backs.
So can we all agree Emmitt Smith?
Of course.
Yeah.
Okay. I know it's the Cowboys, so I was like,
Look, just because I hate the Cowboys, I'm not that kind. You know me, Hunter, for years.
I know, but I figured I'd ask.
I put the respect where the respect is due. Emmitt Smith is the best to ever do it. Now, the other three, you really, there's no wrong answer. Personally, with the other three,
So we're doing past ones first.
yeah. I think you
I'm
have
still
to.
thinking about my fourth one, so you go ahead first.
I have Emmitt Smith. I have LaDainian Tomlinson. I have Walter Payton and Barry Sanders.
I have LaDainian Tomlinson, Emmitt Smith, Walter Payton, and Marshall Faulk.
So I'll give the 3 that I'm sure about, and then the fourth one I'm split between 2 of yours, Luigi. So Emmett, LT, I'm also going to go with Adrian Peterson. But I am between Barry Sanders and Peyton. And
Again, there is no wrong answer for this because there is just so many good ones. John said Marshall Faulk. You said Adrian Peterson. We're forgetting Marcus Allen. Marcus Allen was a great.
I don't know that he deserves a spot on the Rushmore, but as an honorable mention,
Tony
Frank
Dorsett was another one
Tony Dorsett, Frank Gore. Yeah, you're 100%.
Gore just on a lunge. No other running back has had a career like Gore, just in longevity standards.
We're also forgetting, as much as, the bullshit around him, O.J. Simpson, Jim Brown,
The juice.
Eric Dickerson, you know, uh, Terrell Davis.
With O.J. Simpson, I'm not putting him up there for the same reason we're not going to put Antonio Brown on the old list.
Yeah, boy.
Like, Antonio Brown, I see some arguments saying that he should be in the Hall of Fame, and I'm like, yeah, maybe, but he's never going to.
I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right. Now, currently, Derrick Henry, Saquon Barkley. Nick Chubb. And I'm going to go wild card. Sorry. Actually, no. Christian McCaffrey. The wild card that I was going to put was Austin Eckler, but CMC does what Eckler does better.
My top 4. Oh, go ahead.
No, you're good.
All right, so my top 4: Christian McCaffrey, obviously, Derrick Henry, Jonathan Taylor, and Aaron Jones.
Here's the thing. I can't do Jonathan Taylor, man. I think he had that one good year.
Taylor needs to come back to form because last year was not it.
I agree with that, but everybody has their one bad year or a couple bad years in their career.
Sure, and if he can come back, I will absolutely argue for Taylor. But he's so far has had he's had his rookie year, which he was hurt during part of, so I'm not going to hold it either way. He had a great sophomore season, and then that third year was just like, yeah, that's not. My 4 is this is definitely the weirdest current pick that I think we'll have out of any position. So I'll get the 4th pick out of the way. Dalvin Cook. Not even signed to a team currently, but I still think that he is one of the best.
I agree.
The issue is that he wants too much money. We're in a market that just doesn't favor his position.
No, you're 100%.
But my other choices are CMC, Eckler. I argue, while CMC gets further down the field, if I have to choose between the two of them at the goal line, I'm picking Eckler.
Well, yeah, for those in the live chat, me and Hunter draft Austin Eckler in different leagues. That way, whenever he gets a touchdown, we can celebrate together.
Yep.
And actually, John came and joined the party this past season, so it's just a staple. We just got to do it.
And my 3rd pick is Derrick Henry. So altogether, you've got CMC, Eckler, Henry, and Cook.
Dalvin Cook is a good choice, and I love the Aaron Jones pick. I've always been a fan of Aaron Jones. They just, you have Aaron Rodgers, so you don't want to use him. But if they would have used him,
he disappointed me in fantasy, and so I'm just.
Well, that wasn't his fault. They weren't using him properly at all.
This NFL player didn't give me the points I wanted. Now I'm holding a grudge.
Yeah, damn right.
And then tight ends, one of the most forgotten positions.
So, I'm going to go ahead and say it. No matter which side we do, I realize we're doing it as retired, but Kelsey is going to be on the Mount Rushmore no matter what.
Yep.
Hands down.
But retired, my number one all-time tight end is Gronkowski. I think while Kelsey can do a little better at with catching, half of the tight end's job is blocking. And for blocking and catching, there's just no one like Gronk.
Oh yeah, no. I can't remember which year, but Gronk, one of the years in New England, graded as the 4th best lineman in the league.
Gronk was on another level.
Kelsey this year has said that he is committed to learning how to block better, so I don't know, that's kind of scary.
All right,
Lord.
So my top 4 for past tight ends: Rob Gronkowski, obviously, Tony Gonzalez, Antonio Gates, and Jason Witten.
I have no comments. That is my list. I would just put it in a different order.
Okay. I would actually put Jason Witten is there. However, I would have him interchangeable with Jimmy Graham. I still have Gronk, Gates, Gonzalez, but you can intertwine Witten and Graham for me. I know how great Witten was firsthand. All you had to do was send him on a post route against the Giants, and it was a touchdown. So I just every single time it was a 25, 30-yard post route. We can't block it. We just can't.
For me, Witten it's all about how fucking tough he was. You get the helmet. It was a common staple for Witten to have his helmet knocked right off of him, and he just keep going.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. He. And again, me being a Giants fan, I watched him twice a year. He could take the hardest freaking hits, and that ball would not move whatsoever. Now, in terms of a
I don't want
tight end, Jimmy Graham.
I'm not putting Graham up there because while he was really good with his first team, whenever he was changing teams, he never brought that production back.
Fair enough.
You know, Witten stayed a consistent force until he retired.
Heath Miller is another good one from the Titans, or not Titans, Steelers.
Heath Miller, what's his face, from the Chargers, not Gates, but Kellen Winslow,
Mike Ditka.
Mike Ditka, Ozzie Newsome.
Was Ditka tight end?
Yeah.
Yes.
Huh. For some reason, my brain said he was on defense.
Nah.
Da Bears. But let's see. In terms of current, Travis Kelce, George Kittle,
Mark Andrews.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you. Mark Andrews and Darren Waller.
I have Kelsey, Kittle, Andrews, and Mike Gesicki, or whatever his name is.
Gesicki?
Gesicki.
I have a maybe controversial pick on this because he's not a full tight end, but I've got Kelsey, Kittle, Andrews, and Taysom Hill. He is assigned as a tight end,
Yes, he is.
but the guy plays fucking every position, and you don't know what the fuck's gonna happen whenever he's on the field. And there's something to say about that versatility. Because he's not the best at any of the positions he plays, but he's good enough at all of them that he makes you have to pay attention.
No, you're right.
All right. So, is that all we're doing for offense, or we?
Offensive line, but I figure we could, rather than doing specific positions, we can just do the line as a whole.
Yeah.
But
Now,
I would say I cannot do as much on the old talk of offensive line. I just don't know them that well.
Me either. I can name a top 4 overall for defense, though.
Or you mean offensive line?
Oh no. See.
what?
Because that's what I think we're doing is offensive line first.
Yes, and I can tell you we can do current because again the knowledge I understand, but if it's not Trent Williams,
Zach Martin, number 1. Man has more Pro Bowls than holding penalties.
and
doing
what does he have,
current,
one Pro
right?
Bowl?
No, he's got like 5, I think.
Oh yeah.
And like he is one of the few offensive line people to get rated 99 in Madden.
I have Trent Williams. I have Tristan Wirfs. I have Jason Kelsey. And you can alternate Zach Martin or Tyron Smith.
All right. So I have Trent Williams on my list. So Laramie Tunsil is another one.
Yeah, Laramie Tunsil, yeah. Oh,
Christian,
shit.
Christian Darashaw from the Minnesota Vikings is another one. And the last place, Rashawn Slater from the Chargers.
You know, sorry, Hunter. Go ahead.
I'm gonna go Zach Martin, worse. The first one you said, Luigi.
Trent Williams?
Yes, Trent Williams. And while I want to say Tyron Smith, if we're looking at current, he's not as good as he was previously. So I'm not going to throw him on there. Remind me of, there was someone on your list, John, that I wanted to pluck. Tunsil.
Yeah.
And as you were saying, Laramie Tunsil, I forgot Orlando Brown.
Oh, that's a good one.
Just signed with the Chiefs.
Which is bullshit. Why do they need that? Like, shit, give them to Miami. Poor Tua.
But yeah, there's and Quentin Nelson. There's also a name that you can put up there.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good ones. Now, John, you said about defense. You said you can do a top 4 just overall, not by position. Okay, go ahead.
I was going to do secondary versus the defensive line.
All right,
If you can...
I can do it for past at least.
Okay.
All right, give me a minute. I need to find my list I made real quick. Y'all keep talking.
Okay.
Well, past. First off, I've got to go with DeMarcus Ware and Strahan. I'm doing the line specifically. Strahan, Orange Taylor, and J.J. Watt.
All right, so my top four for overall defense: Julius Peppers, J.J. Watt, and this is no in no particular order, mind you. Just Cameron Hayward and Warren Sapp.
Okay. I have Lawrence Taylor. I have J.J. Watt. I have Reggie White. And the line.
Are you not
And
putting Strahan? Because
I could put Strahan.
I figure if I'm doing it, you definitely should because it's your player.
Yeah, you're fair. Yeah. We go Strahan. Now, in terms of secondary, you got to go with.
After we finish this topic, we need to move on to the predictions and
Yep, fair.
talking about who our teams picked up and all that shit.
Yeah, we need to do the draft and predictions. I think that's what we have left.
That and any fantasy input you want to put in.
Fair.
Skip me.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and say Revis, Champ Bailey, Asante, and I know he's technically not retired, but he's not good anymore, so I feel like it's fair to include him. Gilmore.
Stephon Gilmore?
Yeah. I know
but
he's
he's not
technically
retired. He's with y'all.
I know. That's why I was like, he's technically not retired, but he is not at the prime that he was. Back at his prime, I would give it to him. I think that's the name I'm looking for, anyways. Gilmore ever play for for Seattle or?
No, he played for the Colts.
Who is the big defender from the secondary from Seattle Legion of Boom era?
Oh, Cam Chancellor?
Chancellor, that's who I was looking for.
Okay. Well, you missed a very important name. But I'm gonna go. I'm going to go Ed Reed.
Oh shit, yeah.
Going to do Ronnie Lott, and I'm going to do. You could toss up that last. You could put like. There's good ones. There's good ones. There's Rod Woodson. There's Darrelle Revis. There's Sham Bailey. There's Charles Woodson. Let's go Darrelle Revis because I watched Darrelle Revis and Revis Island was a thing.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. No. He's grabbing a drink.
Who, John?
No, I'm still here.
Oh, John's not grabbing a drink.
No, I am.
But okay. So let's go to the schedule.
Oh, if you don't mind, I had already thought of my current one.
Oh shit! Yeah, I forgot current.
Yeah. I'll go through it real quick though. Diggs, I'm gonna go with Sauce Gardner. I'm gonna go with the guy on the Broncos whose name is escaping me. And I'm blanking on names today, but the big defender on the Broncos that took just before Diggs, and the guy who used to create. I go with Bradbury.
Are you
For
talking about
current,
Tan?
Yes, current.
Were you talking about Pat Surtain on the
Pat
Broncos?
Surtain. I had the name and then I got up and I forgot it.
Currently, I have Jair Alexander. I have Jalen Ramsey. I have I have Pat Surtain and Tre'Davious White.
all right.
Honorable mention: Pat Pete. No, just kidding.
And this is for what? Defensive line or overall?
Defensive backs. So cornerbacks, safeties.
Honestly, I can't really find any disagreements with Hunter's list.
The only reason why I don't put Diggs up there is because he's just a ball hawk. That's it.
Oh, no, I disagree because that not last year but the year before, he got burned so much because he was always going for it. Last year he didn't get as many interceptions, but he locked down a lot more. He has learned how to be more choosy, and I wouldn't put him up there on a ball hawk alone, but he's become choosy with it.
All right, so want to move on to the
Predictions, yes.
yeah.
Yes.
All right, we'll just go by division winner, worst place. Sound good?
First best in the division.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
God damn it, Hunter.
Yeah.
All right. Let's start with we've been talking a lot about the AFC. Let's start with the NFC. Let's
All
start with the
right.
NFC West.
Well, without a doubt, the worst is the Cardinals. I'm willing to put money down that they will have the number 1 draft pick.
Yeah,
How
and
much
Kyler Murray's
money?
not be starting
How much
this
money we
season.
talking, Hunter?
$10.
Yeah, sure, I'll take this bet.
All right.
The number 1 draft pick.
Yep. To be fair, if they trade away, that it still counts. They're gonna have the worst record at the end of the year.
Yeah, I gotta agree with the Cardinals. Yes.
Yep.
I'm gonna go with 49ers for the winner of the division.
Yeah, in order, I have the Cardinals in last place, the Seahawks, the Rams, and then the 49ers to win the division. I have the Rams above the Seahawks because I think the Rams had a Super Bowl hangover. They had a lot of injuries. Stafford didn't play the whole season. Cup didn't play the whole season. Um, I think they're going.
Yeah, but they weren't exactly playing good before they got hurt.
You're right. But yeah, that's my 4.
All right, so my 4, I got the 49ers in first. I got the Cardinals in last, just like you guys. But I got the Seahawks and Rams switched around, Luigi.
Same as John.
I don't know. Can Gino do it again? I don't know, man. I do not know. I really don't know.
Oh, NFC North. I think this one's gonna be fun.
Oh yeah. So here the big thing here is going to be okay. Rodgers is gone. So how are the Packers going to do with Jordan Love? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, all signs are pointing to the Packers tanking and just plummeting to rock bottom. However, I still think that they're not going to finish last. I have the Bears finishing last still.
Bears.
Here's why. The Bears did some good things in the offseason, okay? They got a number 1 guy for Justin Fields and DJ Moore. And Fields later last season showed off his potential. However, he needs to make the stride that Lamar Jackson has done. Lamar was a runner at first, but then established being a pocket passer in a sense. Fields has not done that yet. So, until that happens, I will have the Bears last. Still, and their defense is shit. So, I'm going Bears in last, the Packers, the Lions, Vikings winning the division. The
Wow, I
I
don't
know
agree with a single spot.
there's so much hype with the Lions at the moment. I understand that. I feel like they're going to be subpar from their expectations. I'm not saying they're not going to be good, but motherfuckers are expecting the Lions to blow everybody out of the water. It's not happening. And it's going to be on full display when they start the season against the fucking Chiefs. So that's my 4.
I'm gonna say Packers, then Bears, then Vikings, then Lions. You're right. The Lions aren't gonna blow everyone out of the water, but the Vikings aren't that good. They were the worst 13-4 team in history. And it was very evident when they played the Giants.
Because the Giants are amazing. What are you talking
Eh,
But point being, the Vikings were frauds, and I think they come back down to earth this year. And the Lions are not gonna. Well, they're not gonna be the number 1 seed or anything. They will win the division. And the Bears, I think that they're gonna pull it together. Not enough to get any kind of postseason, but enough that they will be safe from the 4th spot.
about?
my
Okay.
list for the NFC North, I have the Packers in last, the Bears, Vikings, and Lions.
Good man.
What did you say?
He said the same thing as me.
Oh, okay. All right. All right. NFC South. All right, John, you go first. Since
Obviously, bias me being as biased as I am. I got Panthers in first, obviously. I got the Falcons in last, and then
Oh,
I have
whoa.
the Saints and Bucks.
Okay, I was not expecting that. Well, I was expecting the Panthers, but realistically, with your bias, you aren't totally wrong. That division is wide fucking open. The Panthers could easily win that division, and with their upgrades, you know, and stuff with the players that they got a lot of position role players. So I don't see why not they cannot win it.
And see,
However,
don't get me wrong when I say the Falcons are going to be in last. I don't say that I'm not saying that because I think they're going to suck. I think honestly the NFC South is going to be tightly contested this season. I just think that out of all the teams, Falcons are going to have it the worst off.
the thing is, I in that crowded division, I can't put the Falcons in last because of how much of a
they
tremendous offseason they had. You know, they signed so many good players on both offense and defense. They fucking snagged Jesse Bates
And
from the
see,
Bengals.
I don't deny that they had a great offseason, but at the same time, having a great offseason and then equating that to the regular season are two totally different things.
And that's fair. And I am
And
not sold on Desmond Ritter whatsoever. I don't think he's going to be that good. But, I can be proven wrong. However, I have the Bucks in last place. I have the Saints and the Falcons finishing. Actually, I have Saints, Falcons, and Panthers all finishing first, but with um the Saints having tiebreaker.
So you got Saints winning the South.
Yes, but all of them finishing with the same record, except for the
I
Bucks.
that is a bold prediction. I think the Saints are the only team in that division that doesn't have a chance to win it. I do not see the Saints winning. I see them finishing in last. Now, here's where it gets complicated. If you remove quarterback play, the Bucks are the clear favorites. But it is still the most important position.
And you got
Ultimately,
bum ass Baker Mayfield.
ultimately, I'm going to go ahead and say the Panthers, Falcons, and then Bucks, Saints. But I think all three of the top three could go either way.
Fair enough.
Bucks didn't make a lot of improvements, but they ultimately all they really need is a quarterback away. And while we joke about Baker, he also is the only guy to lead the Browns to a playoff win.
On no part of his own.
I mean,
The Browns had a
bad.
studded defense.
He didn't play bad those years though.
He was a manager.
He was.
But he wasn't a good manager.
He's a game manager. He's not an elite quarterback. But the thing is, there's an argument to say that that's all the Bucks really need. Like, they've got a solid defense, a solid offensive line, great wide receivers.
Fair enough.
Ultimately, he's just got to go, fuck it, Mike Evans and Godwin are down there somewhere.
All right. Now the most interesting.
Well, obviously the Cowboys win.
The NFC Beast. Here's where. So the Eagles won it last year, right? So it's obviously tradition that they're not.
Eagles aren't going to win.
I think we're all in agreement that the Commanders will be last.
I am not in agreement with this.
Well, then.
Okay, go ahead.
Go ahead.
And start.
Yeah.
All right, so I got the Cowboys as number 1.
My man.
Giants is number 2.
Whoa.
Commanders is number 3. And Eagles is number 4.
I like this ranking.
I mean, wow. You think the Eagles?
I believe the Eagles are going to have, even though they didn't win the Super Bowl, they're still going to have their Super Bowl slump. They lost Miles Sanders. They've lost a lot of people on their defensive line. They are nowhere near as strong as they were last season.
No, I fully agree. I don't.
No, yeah,
not with the ranking, but with the reasoning.
Yeah. I have from least to best Commanders. I would just switch Eagles and Commanders. I would have Giants and then Cowboys winning it. And for those watching, I am not a biased fan. Trust
Did
me.
you say the Cowboys are going to win the division?
Yes, I am a NFL fan. I love football. Obviously, the Giants are my team. I love them to death. I got them tattooed on me. You know, they're my team. However, I know my team. We are not there yet to win the division. Why? Because we cannot win division games. We won one division game last year, and we couldn't win a second one. We had to tie. So it's just the way it is. And until I see it for myself, and plus, I mean, you would hope a drought would end. The Giants haven't won the division since 2011. However, I'm optimistic.
I'm gonna go ahead and say Cowboys, then Giants, Eagles, Commanders. I was originally Cowboys Eagles, but honestly, hearing out how much they've lost was a bit of a. I still don't think that they finish worse than Washington. Washington's gonna have to deal with the whole new ownership situation as well. So
That's kind of why I have Washington not in last place. It's because I feel like under the new ownership, they're gonna be a lot better than people.
I think that Washington could be really good next year, but I think this year they're gonna have to work out some bugs. Oh, by the way, I misspoke earlier, so I want to correct. Consecutive seasons with 1,000 receiving yards. Mike Evans is at 9 to Jerry Rice's 11.
So he needs 2 to tie,
3 to win. Yeah.
Yep.
And Evans is nowhere near the point in his career that Rice was when he accomplished it, I don't think. I think he's making pace quicker than Rice did.
Yeah. And Jerry Rice, mind you, played 22 seasons. You know?
Yeah, I will know that the only reason that Rice didn't break the record, didn't go up to 12, was he got hurt. He only had a few games that year.
And then he went to the Raiders to die.
Yep.
All right, AFC. We'll go start again with the West.
Well, obviously the Chiefs win.
Yeah, obviously.
Chiefs are number 1 until proven otherwise. Now with the 3, that comes into a little good debate.
Can we just take a moment and appreciate? I remember our predictions from last year. We basically all were like, you know what? Every other team in the AFC West has gotten better. The Chiefs have gotten worse. We're gonna pick. Every one of us picked a different team to win the AFC West and the Chiefs, and then they went on to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
They're officially the new Patriots of fuck it. I'm gonna pick them until I'm proven otherwise.
Yes, and my take for the Broncos was probably one of the most horrible takes ever made.
Oh yeah.
I had Denver winning 13 fucking games. I had them winning the division. I had them. It was rough. It was rough out the streets.
I had Chargers winning, if I remember.
I also had Chargers.
It was horrible.
All right, so I'm going to make this prediction. This year's AFC West is going to end the exact way last year's AFC West did. Chiefs, Chargers, Raiders, Broncos.
Okay.
I feel like I'm at risk of taking a Luigi here, but I'm gonna go Chiefs, Broncos, Chargers, Raiders. I think maybe Russell Wilson gets it together with Sean Payton.
Yeah, I'm going Chiefs. I have I have Broncos, Chargers, but they finished with the same record, and then Raiders.
I am biased. Fuck the Broncos.
I just hope that the Broncos don't do it to me twice. So That's all I'm saying. The AFC South. I think it's going to finish the exact way it was finished last year.
with,
Jags,
with the
Titans,
Titans
Colts,
blowing the most
Texans.
insurmountable lead.
Yeah.
I got
Because-
Jags, Titans, Texans, Colts. I think the Texans are going to be better than they were last year. They're not going to make the playoffs, mind you. They're still going to have a losing record.
Yeah,
But see, I don't really buy into Indianapolis at all as a team.
No.
Like, last season was just god awful. I don't think they had a very good draft this season.
they're not going to be good. But I will note, talking about last year, they are one of the few teams to beat the Chiefs. Because football is fucking weird.
I
Yes.
call that a pity win.
Yeah.
The AFC North.
I think I'm going to go ahead and say number 1 is the Bengals, number 2 the Ravens, number 3 the Steelers, number 4 any other team. Can we add another team? Because fuck the Browns.
Alright, so I got Ravens, Bengals, Steelers, Browns. And honestly, Ravens and Bengals could be interchangeable between now and the start of the actual season.
Here's the thing. So Lamar is coming off injury, but he's got Odell. But we'll see how that works.
Lamar got paid finally. He has no excuse now.
Yes, he got a massive fucking contract. But I got Bengals, Ravens, Browns, Steelers. I'm not sure how to feel about Kenny Pickett, and this will be the first full season for Deshaun Watson. And with the talent around him, I see no excuse, really.
Fair enough. Alright. AFC East.
Ooh, this is going to be most interesting.
I'm going to pick the Dolphins to win it.
Dolphins, Bills, Jets, Patriots.
So that's what I think's going to happen. What I want is Dolphins, Bills, Patriots, Jets.
Because of Rodgers.
Yep. I think that would just be rather funny. Yeah, either want that or him to be on the Jets and lose the first round of the playoffs.
Now, see, here's what I want. I want the Jets to make the AFC Championship game and lose.
And then lose.
Yes.
Beautiful, beautiful.
I have I have Dolphins, Bills. No. Dolphins, Jets, Bills, Patriots.
You have the Jets over the Bills?
Yes.
I'm more surprised that, like, I knew when we went into this, I was going to pick the Dolphins. But I have been high on the Dolphins for quite a bit.
Yes, you have been.
They've been very good, solid on defense and just right there offensively.
Okay, here's the disclaimer. If Tua doesn't die, then they win the division. Okay? But because I've been strongly...
If Tua can come out there with at least 3 of his 4 brain lobes...
Tua shouldn't be playing, but, you know, I'm not Tua, so I can't do anything about that. But
I do not blame him. I understand why some people think he should stop, but I don't blame him. He's worked all of his life to get to this point, and to to give it up is not an easy decision.
giving up any athletic sport just because of concussions isn't an easy decision. I mean, look at all the wrestlers that suffer
You're right.
concussions all the time. All right, so we got that out of the way. Anything else we want to talk about today?
I wanted a little bit on the draft, mainly just the Jahmyr Gibbs pick, because it still bothers me.
Oh yeah, you never mentioned who your teams picked up this season, off season.
I know we picked up Stephon Gilmore, and that's about it. As far as I can remember.
You guys got Brandon Cooks as well.
Oh shit! Yeah, we did. That one's cool. I'm cool with that one.
The Giants picked up Darren Waller, who I'm hoping we get a healthy Darren Waller, because a healthy Darren Waller is a monster, and that'll be a great red zone pick for DJ. We re-signed Sexy Dexy. We re-signed DJ. We re-signed a lot of people to like 1-year contracts. I'm hoping they re-sign fucking Saquon. I hope I get the notification.
I'm hoping he holds out to week 2.
Yeah, waiting all day for a Sunday night. Guys, I can't wait, man. It's gonna be great.
But yeah, the Jahmyr Gibbs pick, the Lions traded back in the draft to pick up a running back when they had the chance to pick up the consensus overall best running back in the draft.
Yeah, so their thing is Jahmyr Gibbs, and they traded DeAndre Swift and Jamal Williams for Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery.
And that just... I don't understand the pick. Like,
it's
maybe I think Gibbs has a chance to have a better season than Bijan just because of the situation that he's in versus the Falcons. But you switch those picks, and we could be like, and I could see us looking at Bijan as very clear to have the Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
John, how do you feel about Bryce Young?
Honestly, I don't really know how to feel about him right now. I want to say he's going to be good, but at the same time, like, it's sort of a wait-and-see type of situation for me. I'm more concerned about what's going to happen if he ends up getting injured or doesn't work out. Don't get me wrong, I like Andy Dalton, but I don't see him being a guy that can lead us in place of potential injury.
Fair enough.
It's the same way I was with Cam Newton. I was optimistic but hesitant.
Well, to be fair, that worked out quite well with me, for at least for the beginning.
Yeah. The beginning. There ain't no 32 players better than me. Yes, there is. All 32.
I'd imagine. Actually, no. Technically, he is correct. There ain't 32 players better than him. There's 64. Because he ain't even a backup either.
No, truthfully, I think he's perfectly acceptable as a backup. Come in for a couple of games. That's about it.
Fair. I'm more excited about picking up DJ Shark and Adam Thielen than anything.
Yep, weapons upon weapons. You guys got Hayden Hurst, Miles Sanders. Like, you guys picked up a lot of.
How do we feel about the Texans rookie quarterback?
CJ Stroud. Here's the thing. He's going to the Texans, so it's going to take a little bit for him to be recognized. and especially now considering the fact that the NFL has made it that not every team is guaranteed a primetime spot, because at the moment the Texans don't deserve any primetime. But, I think he could hopefully become, but I'm not sure if the Texans. The pick that I'm more curious about is the Colts went Anthony Richardson, and I don't think Anthony Richardson's NFL ready.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's going to start because there's no other. Like, who's going to catch up?
No, I get it.
So y'all shocked about how low or how high in the draft Will Levis went?
Yeah, because he puts mayonnaise in his coffee.
Yeah, no, that's fair. He is lucky he got drafted after that video.
I can just imagine just touring the. Who did he get drafted for?
He got drafted by the Titans.
Yeah, just go to the Titans training facility. Everybody has their own locker room, and then Will Levis just has one isolated to himself.
Because no one wants to see that shit.
Yeah, we keep Will in there. Nobody wants to talk to him.
But that begs the question of, who's going to be the starting quarterback? Tannehill, Willis, or Levis?
Tannehill.
I've heard that Willis is already outperforming Levis, so.
I believe they'll stick with Tannehill at first.
I think the order of the depth chart's going to go Tannehill, Willis, Levis.
Yeah, but the thing is, they drafted Levis in the second round. So, why would you waste one of your top picks on a guy that you might not even use?
I mean, why would you trade in AJ Brown?
That is fair. That was also stupid. I'm surprised AJ Brown didn't show up on our best wide receivers earlier.
That's a fair point. I thought about it, but there's so many good ones.
But what else we got, John? That's right, or...
He brought up fantasy, but I'll be honest, I don't have any thoughts on fantasy this year because I've been really busy and I haven't done any research on it.
Same.
All right. Well.
Oh my God, we're actually gonna finish on time.
Let's double
quick,
check.
ramble.
I'm double checking the list to make sure we didn't miss anything.
I don't know how to feel about this. I don't think we've ever finished a podcast regardless of topic in the time frame we have set.
Well, that's because we didn't give individual records for literally every single fucking team.
Oh, I mean, even wrestling podcasts, we don't do that.
I think we've evolved.
We have.
Hopefully.
So before we go, I do have to say, any on-field news that y'all want to talk about that happened this off-season before we go?
So it's not football, but we are somewhat another sports podcast as well. Oh God, I am just terrible with names today. The John Moran. That whole saga.
He fucked up. He got a second chance, and no matter if it was real, if it was fake, if he didn't meet whatever, he's a public figure, and that just doesn't go off the wrong way. And I think he should have been suspended longer, but
Same. I think half the year minimum. The NBA was like, you know what? You're a really big star. We're not going to punish you too hard. You really can't do this. And he said, I'm sorry. It will never happen again. And then it happened again the same year. And it's like, you know what? We have no more patience.
And the NBA is very
lenient
with, their rules and shit. So I don't
particularly for star players.
exactly because they're all about ratings.
Mm-hmm.
So, y'all think Joe Mixon is going to play this season?
I do.
Yeah, I mean he restructured his deal.
I haven't heard anything about a Mixon suspension. I've heard that the Kamara suspension is probably going to be anywhere between 2 to 6.
I'm shocked Mixon isn't getting suspended, but Kamara is.
He
Then
should
again-
be, but again,
Then again, Kamara was caught on camera, so like you can't really brush that under the rug.
Yeah, with Kamara, there was a whole ass police investigation. That my understanding is he is basically he's dealing with some punishment from the police, but not heavy ones.
All right, so thank you all for coming out tonight. This has been the Extra Point Podcast. Luigi, Youngblood, thank you for joining.
where we may miss the point, but we don't miss
The extra
extra
point.
That sounds more like us.
Yeah.
All right.
We'll
Goodbye, everyone.
we'll never get that.